Once, in the heart of ancient India, there ruled a mighty king named Surya Dev. His empire stretched far and wide, his palace glittered with gold, and the finest silks draped his throne. Jewels sparkled on his crown, servants bowed at his feet, and poets sang of his glory. Yet every night, as darkness swallowed the palace and the world grew quiet, King Surya lay awake, tormented. His heart beat like a war drum, his thoughts a never-ending storm. He had everything, wealth, fame, power, but no peace. He had built walls higher than any enemy could scale, yet he could not escape the prison inside his own mind. The king became irritable, his temper flared over the smallest matters. His ministers noticed, his queen noticed. Even his people whispered, "Our king has everything," yet he looks more tired and unhappy with each passing day. One day, worn thin by his own inner chaos, King Surya summoned his council. "Bring me the wisest sage in all the land," he ordered, "someone who can free me from this storm inside." Word spread across the kingdom until it reached the ears of Master Ananda, an old Buddhist monk who lived in solitude deep within a quiet forest. He was known not for grand speeches but for his serene presence. When Ananda arrived, the king looked at him with desperate eyes. "O wise one, I rule an empire, yet I cannot rule my own thoughts. I have gold and glory, yet my heart is heavy. My mind races even in sleep. I feel lost, though I sit upon the throne. Help me. Free me." Master Ananda studied the king quietly, then spoke in a voice as calm as still water. "Your Majesty, you already hold the cure, but you have never turned inward to find it. If you wish to discover peace, I propose an experiment. Will you trust me?" The king, too exhausted to argue, nodded. "Anything. I will do anything." The monk said, "You will stay here in my monastery for 15 days. Live simply, as my disciples do. For these 15 days, you must speak as little as possible. Stay silent, observe, and resist the urge to command or complain. Silence will be your task." The king, proud and powerful, was taken aback. He who had given orders all his life was now being told to keep his mouth shut, to live like a simple monk. But desperation outweighed pride. He agreed. Thus began King Surya's journey into silence. From the very first dawn at the monastery, King Surya felt discomfort gnaw at his bones. The walls here were bare, no silk drapes, no gold carvings, no sweet incense. The monks woke at sunrise, their day measured not by the ticking of jeweled clocks, but by the rising and setting of the sun. For the first time in years, the king was no one special here. No one bowed, no one flattered, no one rushed to obey. And hardest of all, he could not speak. On the first day, his mind rebelled like a wild horse. Thoughts galloped through him, memories of past battles, fears of future betrayals, 1,000 worries crashing together like cymbals. By mid-morning, his lips itched to shout an order, to demand attention, to command the silence to stop. But the vow of silence held him prisoner. As the sun climbed high, he wandered the monastery grounds like a caged lion. Monks tended to gardens in silence. Birds sang in the trees. Wind rustled through bamboo leaves. But inside the king, a storm raged on. By the evening, King Surya felt worse than before. His body was exhausted from pacing. His mind was burning from endless inner chatter. This was a mistake, he thought. Silence is not peace. Silence is torture. But still, he endured. On the second day, he noticed something new. Sitting under a Bodhi tree, he watched a butterfly land on a flower. A simple act. And yet, for a brief moment, his racing thoughts paused. He realized he had never really seen the beauty of small things before. In his palace, His eyes had always been fixed on grand ambitions, on winning wars, gathering wealth, expanding his rule. But here, a butterfly's wings carried more grace than all his banners combined. Each day after, his struggle continued, but moments of calm began to stretch longer. On the fourth day, he noticed the deep green of the leaves. On the sixth day, he heard the distinct patterns in birdsong. By the eighth day, he felt the wind against his skin, not as an annoyance, but as something alive, present. His mind, once a battlefield, was slowly becoming a garden. But it was not easy. On the 10th day, old urges clawed back. A monk accidentally spilled water near him. Instantly, his old royal instinct roared, "Punish! Demand apology!" But no words came out. He clenched his fists, and then, slowly, unclenched them. For the first time, he observed the anger rise like a wave, and then fall away, powerless, because he had not fed it with words. That evening, sitting alone under the sky, King Surya wept, not out of sorrow, but out of release. The silence had become a mirror. For the first time, he saw himself clearly, not as a king or a warrior, but as a man who had been at war with his own mind. And as he gazed at the stars, no longer did he feel restless. The same stars had watched over him all his life, but now he finally noticed their stillness. And within that stillness, his own began to awaken. By the 12th day, King Surya was no longer counting hours. Where before each minute had been a battle against his restless mind, now he found himself slipping naturally into long stretches of stillness. The need to control, to command, to conquer. Those old instincts felt distant, like shadows fading at dawn. That morning, as he sat by the lotus pond, something shifted. He closed his eyes not out of discipline, but out of genuine desire to go inward. And there, in that deep silence, he touched something he had never known before, an inner vastness, calm yet alive. It was as though a hidden river had been flowing within him all along, but only now could he feel its gentle current. No longer was he a king struggling against the world. He was simply a soul, sitting in the embrace of existence itself. His breath slowed. Thoughts came and went like passing clouds. But he no longer chased them. He no longer fought them. He simply watched. For the first time, peace was not something he was trying to grasp. It was something that arose naturally, like the sun rising without effort. When the 15th day came, King Surya opened his eyes to the morning light, and he smiled. Not the smile of a ruler pleased with conquest, but the quiet smile of a man who had found home within himself. After breakfast, the king approached the old Buddhist monk who had guided him. He bowed deeply, his heart overflowing with gratitude. "Respected teacher," he said, "I have discovered why I was so restless. My tongue was never still, my mind never silent. I wasted my energy speaking of others, criticizing, defending, commanding. My words created storms outside and inside me." The monk looked at him with kind eyes and nodded. "Yes, my son. Most people use words like arrows, firing them carelessly. They harm others, and in return, they disturb their own hearts." The king continued, "In these 15 days of silence, I watched my mind. I saw how much noise I carried within me. But as I stayed silent, that noise began to fade. I saw beauty in simple things. I felt peace not by adding more, but by letting go." The monk smiled. "This is the first door to wisdom. Silence is not emptiness. It is the space where truth begins to speak." King Surya's eyes glistened. "I now understand. True power is not in ruling others, but in mastering oneself. True peace is not given by wealth or victory, but by quieting the endless chatter within." The monk nodded again. Silence is the well from which wisdom draws water. Those who speak less, but with awareness, carry words like precious jewels, and their lives become peaceful rivers that nourish everyone they touch. With a deep bow, King Surya pledged, "From today I will rule not with noise, but with calm. I will speak less, but with care, and I will carry this silence with me, even amidst the noise of my kingdom." And so he returned to his palace, not as the same restless king, but as a man transformed. In the months that followed, people noticed the change. His words became fewer, but carried weight. His anger faded, replaced by calmness. His decisions became wiser, his presence more soothing. Where once his court was filled with quarrels and chaos, now there was harmony. And as his fame grew, people whispered of the king who had found the secret of peace, not through conquests, but through conquering himself. Years later, when King Surya grew old, his name became known not just for his rule, but for his wisdom. And young rulers would travel from far lands to ask him, "What is the secret of true leadership?" And he would simply smile and say, "Learn the power of silence. Rule yourself first, and the world will follow." Moral: in life, peace does not come from speaking more, but from listening deeper. First to the world, then to your own heart. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength refined.